A star with the Indiana Fever in the WNBA, Clark didn't just break 6 rookie records for points and assists. She obliterated them.
Time Athlete of the Year. 22 years old. She had a record-breaking season with the Indiana Fever,
setting 4 franchise records along the way. But more than that, Clark's story isn't just one of sporting achievement. It's a narrative that extends into the realms of race, media, and representation. In just one season, Caitlin Clark had already become a symbol of change and challenge, a beacon for women's sports, and a lightning rod for controversy.
50 records for points and assists, 4 franchise records, and multiple all-time NBA records, including the most assists in a single game, 19. Reflecting on her impact, she stated, "I've been able to captivate."
In this in-depth exploration, we'll delve into the monumental journey of Clark, how her rise to prominence impacted the WNBA, women's sports in general, and her place in the media landscape. Caitlin Clark's story begins in college, where she became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA women's basketball history. During her final season at Iowa, she captivated 9 million viewers during the March Madness finale, a number that outpaced many NBA playoff games. This was unprecedented for a college women's basketball game, and it turned Clark into a household name. Her star power, while growing in the basketball world, was only the tip of the iceberg. When she made the leap to the WNBA, the world was watching. Fans and critics alike were eager to see if Clark could replicate her college success on the professional stage, and she didn't just live up to the hype.
The 3-time MVP A'ja Wilson claimed Clark's race was a huge contributor to her popularity. It doesn't matter what we all do as Black women.
She surpassed it. During her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, Clark not only led her team to new heights, but also redefined what it means to be a rookie. 6 rookie records fell at her feet, including the most assists in a single game. 19, a record that had stood for years. Her performances weren't just about basketball anymore. She was transforming the way people viewed women's sports. The WNBA, a league historically overshadowed by its male counterparts, saw an influx of attention, both positive and negative. But through it all, Caitlin Clark remained calm, focused, and determined to make her mark. Clark's rookie season was nothing short of legendary. Her ability to score, create opportunities for teammates, and control the game from the point guard position was unparalleled. With every game, she seemed to be rewriting the record books.
And turned them into fans. Before joining the WNBA, Clark became the highest scorer in college basketball history.
The numbers spoke for themselves. Clark's ability to rack up points and assists was historic, but there was more to her success than just statistics. The impact Clark had on the WNBA was undeniable. While the league had struggled with viewership in the past, Caitlin Clark's arrival changed that. The numbers were staggering. Arena attendance skyrocketed, jersey sales surged, and social media engagement reached new heights. Clark had become the face of the WNBA, and the league was benefiting from her star power. But with all the attention came increased scrutiny. The spotlight was no longer just on her basketball skills. Now it was on her every word, every action.
Lose $50 million this year. But because of Caitlin Clark and all her great success, they only lost $40 million this year.
Hey.
Amazing, great job.
As Clark became a global figure, her popularity became a double-edged sword. In a pivotal Time magazine interview, Caitlin Clark addressed a topic that had been bubbling beneath the surface for months: race and privilege in sports. While acknowledging her white privilege in a league dominated by Black athletes, Clark also expressed her desire to elevate Black women in basketball. She credited trailblazing icons like Lisa Leslie and Maya Moore for paving the way for her success, and stated that she wanted to contribute to the ongoing fight for racial equality in sports. The response to these comments was swift and divisive. Some hailed Clark for her honesty and self-awareness, while others accused her of virtue signaling. Critics, particularly from certain corners of the media, began to question whether her popularity had more to do with race than basketball talent. The term Great White Hope was thrown around, and debates over whether Clark should have spoken out at all became front-page news. For a rookie, navigating this controversy could have been overwhelming. But Clark, despite the noise surrounding her, didn't falter. She stood by her beliefs and continued to play at an elite level. This unwavering commitment to authenticity and excellence is what set her apart. Every time Caitlin Clark took the court, it felt like an event. From the moment she stepped onto the hardwood, fans, analysts, and critics alike were captivated. Her every move was dissected, analyzed, and scrutinized by the media.
With the following. Adam, I'm going to come to you first. She says, acknowledged her privilege as a white person
creating an atmosphere where even the smallest gestures could spark a headline. While many outlets praised her for using her platform to address important issues, others questioned her motives and timing. This duality of celebration and criticism was a hallmark of her rise to stardom, but it often overshadowed what made her truly remarkable: her basketball talent. Clark's comments about race and privilege, particularly her acknowledgement of the contributions of black players to the WNBA's history, sparked significant debate. For some, her statements were a refreshing demonstration of humility and awareness. For others, they felt performative or unnecessary. This divide reached a peak when she appeared on Saturday Night Live. During her appearance, Clark didn't back down from her remarks. Instead, she doubled down, reiterating that she had earned everything in her career, while also recognizing the path paved by legends like Lisa Leslie and Maya Moore. Rather than retreating from the controversy, Clark embraced it, using it as an opportunity to showcase her maturity and poise. Despite the firestorm off the court, Clark's basketball game never wavered.
In a league built on the contributions of black players, in her Time interview, she stated, "I want to say I've earned every single thing."
In fact, the pressure seemed to fuel her. Every game became a statement, an opportunity to remind the world that no matter what was being said about her, she was an elite player who could change the trajectory of a game. Her performances were electric, silencing critics and captivating fans as she shattered records with her signature combination of precision, vision, and confidence. Caitlin Clark's rise wasn't just about individual success, it was about reshaping the narrative surrounding women's sports. For decades, female athletes had been undervalued, their accomplishments often treated as secondary to their male counterparts. But with Clark, that narrative began to shift in a way that felt unprecedented. She wasn't just a basketball player. She became a cultural icon, forcing people to confront their biases about women in sports. The media frenzy surrounding Clark brought the WNBA into the spotlight like never before. Suddenly, it wasn't just a league for dedicated basketball fans. It was a must-watch for anyone who appreciated talent, authenticity, and the thrill of competition. Her games drew record viewership, rivaling even some NBA playoff matchups. This surge in attention wasn't just a win for Clark, it was a victory for the league and women's sports as a whole. Her influence extended far beyond the WNBA. Youth sports programs across the country saw a significant uptick in enrollment, particularly among young girls inspired by Clark's achievements. Coaches began noticing a shift in the way their players approached the game. Clark's signature move, the long-range three-pointer, became a staple in playgrounds and practice drills as young athletes tried to emulate her style. But it wasn't just her skills that resonated. It was her confidence, her resilience, and her ability to navigate challenges with grace. The scrutiny that came with Clark's rapid ascent was unparalleled. At just 22 years old, she found herself under a media microscope, with every word and action dissected. For some athletes, this level of attention could be overwhelming, even career-altering, but Clark handled it with a maturity beyond her years. She didn't engage in Twitter wars or issue public apologies to appease critics. Instead, she let her performance on the court speak for itself. This grace under pressure earned her the respect of her teammates, who saw firsthand the effort and dedication she brought to the game. In an era where locker room drama often spills into the public eye, the Indiana Fever remained united, a testament to Clark's leadership. Her ability to keep the focus on basketball, even as the noise around her grew louder, demonstrated a rare combination of mental toughness and emotional intelligence. Clark's authenticity also resonated with fans and brands alike. In a world where athletes are often coached to avoid controversy, she stood out for her willingness to address complex issues without sacrificing her identity. This authenticity made her a marketing powerhouse. Nike offered her one of the largest rookie contracts in WNBA history, valuing not just her athletic prowess, but also her ability to connect with audiences on a personal level. Other major brands quickly followed, recognizing that Clark's influence extended far beyond basketball. By the end of her rookie season, the narrative surrounding Caitlin Clark had evolved. She was no longer just the center of a media controversy. She was a symbol of change. Through her play, her words, and her unwavering commitment to being herself, Clark had become a trailblazer, redefining what was possible for women in sports. Her impact wasn't limited to the United States. International basketball organizations began to see increased interest in their women's programs, with Clark's games broadcast in countries where women's basketball had historically been overlooked. She had become a global ambassador for the sport, proving that excellence on the court could transcend borders. Back home, her influence could be seen in gyms and schools across the country. Local basketball programs reported record enrollment, with young players specifically asking to wear Clark's iconic number 22. These kids weren't focused on the controversy that had surrounded her. They were inspired by her talent, her determination, and her ability to rise above adversity. Caitlin Clark's journey is a testament to the evolving role of athletes in society. In today's world, sports figures are no longer just players. They are influencers, leaders, and change makers with the power to shape cultural conversations. Clark didn't shy away from this responsibility. Instead, she embraced it, showing that it's possible to acknowledge privilege and advocate for change while still celebrating personal achievement. Her rookie season will be remembered not just for the records she broke, but for the conversations she sparked. Clark proved that success in women's sports doesn't have to come at the expense of authenticity or integrity. She showed that you can excel in your field while staying true to your values, and that being a role model isn't about perfection, it's about perseverance. As the next generation of athletes looks to Caitlin Clark as an example, her legacy will continue to grow. She has laid the foundation for a future where women's sports are given the respect and attention they deserve, not as a secondary option, but as a vital part of the sports landscape. And in doing so, she has ensured that her story is not just about breaking records, but about breaking barriers. Caitlin Clark's rookie season was more than just a chapter in her career. It was a turning point for women's sports. Through her play, her words, and her resilience, she challenged perceptions and inspired millions. The future of women's basketball is brighter because of her, and the lessons she's taught us about courage, authenticity, and the power of sport will resonate for years to come. Before you go, don't forget to hit subscribe and join Sport Pulse, your community for thoughtful sports coverage. Drop a like if you believe in focusing on athletes' achievements over controversies. Share this video to celebrate Caitlin Clark's incredible journey and inspire others to keep the conversation centered on what truly matters the game. Let us know in the comments. Should athletes stick to sports or use their platforms to address larger issues?